Now, there were 5 SAROs that was issued for the purpose of accomplishing the President's 8-point socio-economic agenda.
Wala nang kawala si Bongbong Marcos dito, anak ng kagwang. Dapat parusahan tong animal. Sa pagpatuloy po ng oral argument diyan sa Supreme Court patungkol sa maanumalyang GAA, Marvic Leonin, ginisa po ang sulji ni Bangag na si Darlene Berbi Rabi. Tangin ng pangalan na ito. Bilyones na saro inungkat, anak ng kamote. Trilyones na pondo. Talagang binusisi ni Marvic Leonin. PDIC, pondo ng PDIC at PhilHealth, anak ng kamote. Ninakaw ng mga hinayupak. Pinagmulan ng unprogrammed funds at marami pang iba. Kaya pala siniraan ngayon si Marvic Leonin, lahat po binusisi ng tudo ng naturang Senior Associate Justice diyan sa Korte Suprema. Medyo technical po itong pag-uusapan natin, pero hindi po ako abogado para may paliwanag sa inyo ng tudo itong patungkol sa GAA. Siguro ang pinaka-the best na gawin natin, pakinggan natin ng maayos upang malaman po ninyo kung paano ginago ni Bongbong Marcos ang trilyon-trilyon na kaba ng bayan. O hito tayo ngayon. Kamusta na kayo mga Talyanista, Bobonistang Komunista, Dilawan, Pinklawan? O itong appointee ni Pinoy ngayon na palaban sa Marcos admin na ang pinag-uusapan ay trilyon-trilyon na pundo ng bayan. Tang-inumin ninyo, no? Tatahimik nyo. Magandang gabi po sa ating lahat. Magandang hapon sa ibang lugar at magandang umaga sa ibang lugar saan man panig ng mundo. Pa-like po muna, pa-share, pa-subscribe at pakipindot po ang inyong mga notification bell para lagi po kayong updated sa ating mga video. Hindi na ako masyado magkomento ng marami dito ha, mga kabisdak. Husgahan natin, pakinggan natin itong pag-isa ni Marvic Leonin kay Soljen Berberabi. Dahil pundo po ito ng bayan, may pakialam po tayo. Sabay-sabay po natin panoorin at intindihin. At ang mga abogadong nanonood ngayon at eksperto patungkol po sa mga banat ni Marvic Leonin, pwede po kayo magkomento para madagdagan rin po ang aming kaalaman. Dahil ako dito sa Bisdak Pilipinas, hindi man ho ako abogado ho, limitado ang ating alam pagdating sa batas, pero itong video na papanoorin natin, makikita nyo po kung paano ginisa ni Marvic Leonin itong si Soljen Darlene, tama ba? Darlene Berberabi, na talagang nauutal kung paano niya protektahan at ipagtanggol itong si Bongbong Marcos. Pakinggan po natin at panoorin. Narito po ang video.
Of foreign assisted projects or FAPs and others not in the prior 2 categories. So we are showing paragraph 2.2 of Annex K. I note the entry in your Annex K where you outline the procedure that if the request is subject to the availability of excess or new revenue, the availability of excess new revenue must be ensured. Correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
So, reading your presentation in Annex K, does this require the certification from the Bureau of Treasury of the existence of excess or new revenue prior to the actual SARO?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, you confirm that for every SARO, there must be prior to that a corresponding certification by the Bureau of Treasury, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And just to clarify, did you submit on behalf of your clients all the corresponding Bureau of Treasury certifications for the SAROs of 2024 and 2025.
It is my understanding, Your Honor, that they submitted, and also in our briefing, the certifications from the Bureau of Treasury, although not corresponding to specific dates, but they have a system of asking for certification on the available funds, and therefore they will know, they will have the information if they could already issue a SARO.
Because my understanding was for every SARO, like for example, there is a SARO that released 69 billion from Sagip, that there is a corresponding certificate coming from the Bureau of Treasury. Am I correct?
Not one-to-one, Your Honor, if I may explain. When we ask DBM, so it's like they periodically, they have a system of asking the Bureau of Treasury for available funds. And they monitor it, they track the available funds. And when the agency requests DBM for the SARO, then they would know what is the available balance of certified by the Bureau of Treasury.
So you agree with me that the issuance of the SARO in 2024 started as early as February and March, coming from unprogrammed funds?
My understanding in the briefing yesterday was, I think the first disbursement was in May, if that is my recollection, and if I may ask my team for confirmation, Your Honor. In 2024. Okay.
Okay. So looking at the certifications for 2024, as you mentioned, it is not really prior to every SARO, but it is aggregated. And
Yes.
looking at it, so flashed on the screen, and this is in Annex J of your compliance for those that would want to examine it. By the way, I assume that the petitioners also got a copy of the compliances. Okay. Now for Annex J, so if you see the certifications here, it is mostly coming from PhilHealth, PDIC, Philippine Health, etc. And on the next page, again, there are dividend collections, etc., income from government deposits. But other than PhilHealth, the certifications coming from dividends started September, and the interest income started September, November, etc. Is this accurate? Because it's in your Annex J.
Yes.
I
yes.
suppose it is accurate.
Yes, Your Honor.
Then in September 17, 2024, there was 30 billion as a result of the upfront payment for the NAIA, Public-Private Partnership, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And there was canceled letter of credit also in September, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
And then importation duties, etc. Correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Would you know the total of these certifications?
I don't have the figure, Your Honor. I may, if I may ask my team.
Yes, it will be relevant later, so kindly ask your team to start the computations, unless you have it now. $377 billion. Do you want to borrow our AI agent to compute?
Your Honor, thank you for the patience. In my document, it is 396
Yes.
billion 989 million 182,236.26.
So our expectation is that the total SARO coming from unprogrammed funds should match this Bureau of Treasury certification, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay, we will see that later. But I notice in the 2024 submissions, most of the certifications were from PhilHealth and PDIC under paragraph D, correct?
That is correct, Your Honor. And so that's why also DBM was telling us when they were briefing about the 2025 and 2026 that those will not be found.
Okay. Now, for 2025, it is a bit different because your submission is shorter. In other words, I only see 1, 2, 3 certifications. One in November 3, the second November 18, and the last one November 18. Am I correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
And this totals only 102,277,458,303.18 centavos, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
So these are the certifications for the releases of the SARO for 2025, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Can you tell us what was the earliest SARO in 2025?
May I confer with my team, Your Honor? The earliest in 2025 was July, Your Honor.
July 2025.
Yes.
Again, I'm confused. Because in your presentation in Annex K, the procedure is that DBM wants to ensure that there is a excess revenue or new revenue before they release from unappropriated funds, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
And the certifications from the Bureau of Treasury only came in November, correct? But the SARO started to be released, July, correct?
May I confer, Your Honor,
Yes.
with the DBM representative?
Perhaps the certifications were not complete, or
Your Honor, if we may suggest to ask the DBM representative to explain the detail, if it pleases the court.
what do you mean in detail?
The DBM representative is explaining that there was a certificate issued and that there was a superseded certification.
Okay, can you ask her to take the podium?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Next to you.
Next week.
No,
I-
next to you.
Okay.
So you can advise her in case she violates her right against self-incrimination. Please go ahead. Can you introduce yourself and your position?
Your Honors, I am Attorney Andrea Celine Magtalas. I am Acting Assistant Secretary of the Department of Budget and Management.
Okay. Go ahead.
The BTR certification dated November 18, 2025 was actually superseded certifications issued dated May 14, 15, July 28, and November 3, 2025. So the first being May 14, Your Honor.
What do you mean superseded?
There was a subsequent certification issued after the first four were issued.
Yes. Can I confirm with you the total amount in terms of certifications for 2025?
It is 257,458,303.18.
Okay. The conditions for the superseding can be covered in the memoranda to be submitted by the Solicitor General, but we would really appreciate if you submit to us even the superseded certifications. But I do note that the total of the certifications for the new or excess is 102 billion, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
For 2025, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. And for 2025, it is only non-tax revenues, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because in 2024, it was both tax and non-tax, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And in 2024, this was unique because ever since the beginning of time, but let me just say, from 2000, which is what we studied, it has always been non-tax revenues, correct?
Yes, Your
Only
Honor.
in 2024, there was an addition of tax revenues. Excess tax,
In the
correct?
provision, Your Honor.
Yes, okay, thank you. Thank you, you may take your seat,
Thank
and
you.
welcome to the court. So again, let us look at the triggers in the 2024 and 2025 General Appropriations Act. It does say that there must be some assurance that there is excess revenues. Okay, so Solgen, have this been followed?
Yes, Your Honor, by virtue of the process of asking the Bureau of Treasury for the certification.
Okay. In the process that you mentioned, as soon as there is excess revenue, this is now a basis for the DBM being requested to issue the SARO to actually issue the special allotment release orders, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Is there anything in the procedure which tells DBM that the excess revenue should be first spent for programmed appropriations rather than unprogrammed appropriations?
No, Your Honor, because for the programmed appropriations that are in the GAA, most of the appropriations, the general rule is that the allotment order is already the GAA itself.
No, I'm not talking about the allotment order, not the document allowing the release. I am looking at where the funds are coming from. So let us again go back to our points last meeting or the last day that we had our oral arguments. We said that even with the program funds, programmed appropriations, there will always be initially a deficit, correct?
May I clarify your
Okay.
question, Your Honor?
You said that the budget of expenditures and sources of financing, the BESF, which is in the NEP, already assumes a deficit, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. And you said that that covers the BESF and the NEP only covers program. In other words, there is a ceiling there of expenditures, and your position is it only covers program, correct?
The BESF covers the programmed and automatic appropriations, while the NEP covers the programmed and unprogrammed appropriations.
So in other words, the BESF already contains a provision for deficits, correct? 24, 25, 26.
Correct, Your Honor.
So therefore, because it does not cover the unprogrammed, there is always an excess of programmed expenditures over expected income, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Now that we have new or excess revenue, and according to you, with new and excess revenue, there is nothing in the process that you mentioned to prioritize the program where there is a deficit, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Yes. And in other words, the DBM can prioritize standby because that is how you characterize unprogrammed. Can prioritize standby rather than the regular.
Your Honor, may I clarify
Yes. Yes, please.
how the DBM does it?
But first answer my question. So DBM can choose to fund first the unprogrammed before the program.
Your Honor, no, because the sources of funds for the programmed and the unprogrammed are different. So for example, if in a source of funding, the
Yes, of course they're different. But according to you, in programmed funds, so there is already a listing of expenditures, but the BESF, the budget of expenditures and sources of funding, which contains the program already assumes a deficit, which means they assume that the sources of revenues are not sufficient to cover the expenditures. Now, given that, and there is new or excess expenditures, you are now saying that there is nothing in the procedure which tells DBM, unahin niyo ang program bago tayo pumunta doon sa unprogram. Unahin niyo yung regular bago tayo pumunta doon sa standby, kasi ang ibig sabihin ng standby ay kung sakasakali lang merong pang extra, correct?
Okay, may I clarify, Your Honor, because there is usually a confusion as to what the sources of funds for the unprogrammed appropriations are, which could lead people to think that the source is a surplus. And the surplus is the revenues minus disbursements. The sources of funds for the unprogrammed appropriations is not a surplus. It is the excess in the total revenue that has been committed in the BESF or in any of the item, which is statutorily provided in the GAA.
I think you need to clarify that more in your memoranda. I did not get the sense, but it is very simple. There is a deficit, so all the funding that are projected by DBM and accepted by Congress is insufficient to fund expenditures. Then later on, the Bureau of Treasury says, hey, there is excess revenue. And the excess revenue, according to you, can go to unprogrammed because in your Annex K, which outlines the procedure, there is nothing there which says that the DBM should first check the priorities of the President and Congress as shown in the GAA, because they are saying programmed is programmed, unprogrammed is unprogrammed, and therefore it should go there first. But let's move so that we do not spend more time. I'm sure that my colleagues will have more pointed questions relating to that. Now, what is for later release? What is this concept of FLR?
The for later release means that there are
is
documents.
that in the law? Is that in the law?
Maybe not in the law, and my team can correct me, but I think that this is in the regulations of the DBM.
In the regulations of DBM, okay. Last session, we were enlightened that the entire GAA, at least the program section, is already the authorization, correct?
In most, that is the general
Yes.
rule, Your Honor, because, for example, in 2024, I remember that the figure that the GAA was already the allotment order covered like 85% of the programmed appropriations.
So, in other words, for later release refers to certain items where there are conditions that need to be met before it is funded, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Yes, but if there is no condition, then it cannot be for later release because that is already authorization, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
And because there is a deficit, in other words, there is extra, there is insufficiency of the revenue being projected, then therefore there will be a time that there can be new revenues or excess revenues, and because most of it are not for later release, then these extra revenues should be used for program, correct?
Your Honor, so when the DBM tracks the sources of funding for the programmed appropriations, so each source of financing will have a target. So let's say 1 billion from the GOCCs. If that is the target that was approved, if the GOCCs will yield a 1.2 billion in dividends, then the 0.2 billion will be tracked by the Bureau of Treasury as an excess.
Okay. So in other words, well, let's move on. What are earmark funds?
Earmarked funds are funds that have been provided by law to be set aside for certain purposes.
Okay, in other words, these are kept by the Bureau of Treasury and they should be spent only for what is earmarked, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
So would you say that this has been fulfilled by government in 24, 25, and 26? In other words, sin taxes, public Wi-Fi, etc., all of it has been used for health and public Wi-Fi.
Your Honor, my understanding is that the DBM also has certain policies on cash programming. They have a lot of studies and expertise as to when the funds are available, when to utilize, and there are also a lot of factors that are being considered when projects, activity, or programs are being asked for SARO, for such PAPs.
So in other words, as we were told during the PhilHealth hearings, cash is fungible, which means that even the earmarked funds are put in the same pot, and it is only through accounting that they will see whether it is actually spent. And we were indeed told that sin taxes, not all of them were really going to health, but used for other services. But that nonetheless, I just wanted to clarify this. Okay. Now, you mentioned in Annex K that the President does not participate for the release, correct? So I flashed the paragraph in your Annex K. Pursuant to the special provisions of the UA under the General Appropriations Act, prior approval by the President is not required for the release. This is from your compliance, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Do you refer to the GAA 24, 25, and 26, all of them?
May I confer with my team? My recollection is that yes, the answer is yes. 2024, 2025, 2026.
So it is your position that under the law, the GAA, the buck stops with the DBM, the President need not approve the SAROs, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
In other words, the DBM Secretary is no longer alter ego of the President. The DBM Secretary is co-equal with the President. Or is that a mistaken assumption?
What I could say is that the GAA has authorized the DBM or designated the DBM Secretary to be the one to perform this responsibility.
She reports to the President?
Yes,
Yes,
Your Honor.
and the President, therefore, as the Chief Executive, and there is only one Chief Executive
Correct,
in the
Your Honor.
Constitution. The President can tell the DBM, don't do that, or the DBM Secretary can consult with the President, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
And the DBM Secretary is accountable to the President, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Yes. Now, let us look at the 2024 provisions of the GAA on unprogrammed funds. And you will note here that in the special provision, it says, subject to Section 35, Chapter 5, Book 6 of Executive Order 292. You confirm that this is in the 2024 GAA.
Yes, Your Honor.
And looking at Section 35, Chapter 5, Book 6 of Executive Order 292, we find there that all requests for special allotment release orders must be accompanied by a special budget to be approved by the President, correct? Section 35, Chapter 5, Book 6, Executive Order 292, or our Administrative Code referred to in the 2024 GAA. It says to be approved by the President, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
So, are you now saying, or am I mistaken, that if the DBM has approved SAROS under 2024 without the explicit approval of the President, then we have violated a special provision in the GAA, correct?
May I confer with my team, Your Honor, so that I will not risk a misunderstanding
Yes.
in my answer? Your Honor, our DBM representative is clarifying that what is referred to in the GAA, in the 2024 GAA, is the presidential approval refers to the special budget request, which is a documentary requirement that happens before the issuance of a SARO.
Okay, so in other words, the President approves the special budget request, and then it goes to the DBM Secretary, and the DBM Secretary approves the SARO, correct?
Yes, Your
And
Honor.
the DBM Secretary, because she has the approval power, can actually not approve if she wants to, correct?
Correct, Your Honor. So,
In other words, the DBM Secretary can overrule the President of the Republic of the Philippines, correct? Kasi sabi nyo, mauna si Presidente sa special budget request. I-approve ni President. Pagbaba sa DBM Secretary, because you are saying that the GAA says that it is the DBM Secretary that approves the SARO, the DBM Secretary can say, sandali lang, wag muna.
for reasons, Your Honor, so for example, if there are submissions that haven't been received, if that is a correct
So it makes sense that the higher authority approves first the conditions before the lower authority approves the entire thing. In other words, the Chief Justice should first approve a travel authority before our Chief of OWAS will actually do the final approval. Okay, in other words, maybe you just covered this in your memoranda. Sufficient it is now to say that Section 35, Chapter 5, Book 6 is referred to as a condition for release in GAA 2024, correct?
Correct, Your Honor. It is not reflected anymore in the 2025 and 2026.
I was going to that. Now, when we go to the 2025 and 2026, the specific provision is no longer mentioned, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
So, does this mean that the GAA 25 and 26 repealed Section 35, Chapter 5, Book 6 of the Admin Code?
Not repealed, Your Honor, but if I may suggest to ask, because the DBM representative was trying to clarify on why it was changed in the 2025 and 2026.
Yeah, very clear that it was changed in 25 and 26. that the specific mention of Section 35 was removed, and Section 35 contained approval by the President specifically. Correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Yes.
May I confer?
What is the status of Section 35 before you confer with the administrative, your administrative support? What is the status of Section 35 as law? Does it still exist in 2025 or 2026?
Yes, it still exists, Your
Can
Honor.
a specific provision in the administrative code be repealed by the General Appropriations Act?
No, Your Honor.
Because that would be exactly called a rider, correct?
Yes, Your Honor, an
Yes.
inappropriate provision.
An inappropriate provision, otherwise known as a kind of rider, because it must only appropriate, not repeal existing law, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
So therefore, the clause now in 25 and 26, which says, and other relevant budgetary requirements in accordance with applicable laws, rules, and regulations, now also refer to Section 35, Chapter 5, Book 6, Administrative Code, correct?
I would say so. I would agree with that statement, Your Honor.
So it is possible, therefore, to legally and therefore constitutionally interpret that the President should approve the SAROS issued under unprogrammed funds, correct? Whether explicitly or implicitly, correct?
For the special budget request, Your Honor, but
Okay.
not the SARO.
Yes. Now, again, just to see the importance of this, based on your Annex B, and Annex B, for information of everyone, is your compliance regarding the digital copies of all the SAROS issued in 2024, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, there were 5 SAROS that was issued for the purpose of accomplishing the President's 8-point socio-economic agenda. There is such a thing, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, the 8-point socio-economic agenda is in the President's Philippine Development Plan 2023 to 2028, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
So now we look at, okay, it is a priority because it is in the PDP, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Yes, and unprogrammed funds is merely a standby authority, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
And if the 8-point plan in the Philippine Development Plan of 2023 to 2028 is a priority, why is it in the unprogrammed appropriations part of the GAA?
Your Honor, I would submit that that goes into the reasoning or the wisdom of the Congress in putting the appropriations in the programmed or unprogrammed.
So our president created the NEP. Our president has a Philippine Development Plan 2023 to 2028. Our president has committed to the public, I have 8 points. Sustainable livelihood, green livelihood, all of them, I can show it to you there. I enumerated because I wanted to memorize all of this because it is the plan of the president. That's why I wanted to memorize it, but I could not. And this is all there is. It committed it to the public. Ito yung gagawin ko during my entire term. Yet, instead of the Congress, in its wisdom, instead of putting it in the program, meaning regular, it put it as standby. Is that what you mean? We have to respect the wisdom of Congress, putting it on standby.
It is the position of the respondents, Your Honor, that we can actually debate on the soundness or unsoundness of putting certain items. And in fact, the public is already responding and reacting that that is unsound. But it is the humble submission of the respondents and the Solicitor General that this is a political question. Our Constitution defines the separation of powers and in fact has
Article 8, Section 1, second paragraph, has a modification on separation of powers. grave abuse of discretion, meaning irrationality, can be corrected by judicial review. But let us continue and let us just see what exactly were these SAROs. Page 141 of your submission is a SARO issued November 11, 2024, amounting to 12 billion released. Page 155 is another SARO for purposes of release for the President's priority, 69.9 billion, almost 70. Page 210, 3 billion. Page 215, 9.9 billion. And 228, 51 billion. Now, just to see, let's look at the highest release under for the President's priority. This is page 155 of your submission. Here is the SARO. And if you look at the SARO, the funding source is SAGIP under unprogrammed funds. You agree? Funding source, unprogrammed, SAGIP, correct?
The source of fund that is the item in the
Yes.
appropriation,
Yes.
Your Honor. Yes.
No, not appropriation, unprogrammed appropriation.
Yes, Your
There
Honor.
is an item there called strengthening assistance for government infrastructure and social projects, correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Now, reading it, it seems everything. Government infrastructure and social projects. That means everything, correct?
It means assistance for government and infrastructure social programs.
Yes, that's everything. What else is not infrastructure and social program? Education is social, everything else, correct? And that is a lump sum, correct?
It is a lump sum which
Yes.
has a specific purpose and specific amount.
That's being challenged by the petitioners, but in any case, it's a lump sum, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
In 2024, there were 47 lump sum items in unprogrammed funds, correct? 47 lump sum, 4 line items.
I do not have that detail now, Your Honor.
In 2025, there were 25 lump sums, no line items. You don't have that detail also.
I don't have, Your
In
Honor.
2026, it was reduced to 10 lump sums, correct?
I do not have that detail now, Your
Okay.
Honor.
In any case, let us go to that SARO. It says 69 billion, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
And if we move further down into page 163, if I'm not mistaken, if we scroll down, it also contains releases for flood control projects, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Yes, and if we scroll down further, it covers also Region 3, like Hagonoy, Bulacan, correct? Release of 70 million pesos.
Okay. I am referring to the document that you are flashing, Your Honor, that your statement is correct.
Yes. So therefore, all the 5 SAROs, the total was 146 billion pesos from standby, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
And these SAROs were released under the signature of the DBM Secretary, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay, now the source is SAGIP. Now let's go to the other SARO for 51 billion, just to see the importance of authorities in the approvals. Page 228, Annex B, 51 billion, same. SAGIP, lump sum, source, purpose, 8-point priority agenda of the President. And if we move down to page 234, a start of the listing for flood control, correct?
Based on the document flashed on screen, Your Honor, correct.
Yes, and to page 239, releases for Region 3 and Oriental Mindoro. I just want to show you where all of these are found in terms of the authority for release, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
So, in your submission, the President did not participate in these releases, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Yes, it was, the signature is DBM Secretary, only the DBM Secretary, correct?
For the SARO, Your Honor.
For the SARO, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Yes. So, is SAGIP a proper lump sum item? Because I only flashed the infrastructure flood control. There is still road maintenance. There are different other social projects in one SARO. So, in other words, is this compliant with Bellica versus Ochoa 2013, penned by Justice Alfredo Benjamin Caguiwa, and in 2019, Saj Telly Bernabe? Okay.
It is our submission, Your Honor, that it passes the Belgica test on a single correspondence, which is a specific amount for a specific purpose.
Okay, now I move on to our next point, but probably your team can be taking note of some of the observations that we made and covering it. We are looking at grave abuse of discretion. Okay, now, the release of the total releases of unprogrammed funds, and thank you for your submissions again. Let us start with 2025, contained in Annex F. Status report of FY fiscal year 2025 unprogrammed appropriations. Okay, there is a first page. And there are so many columns, and as lawyers looking at this, we will be daunted, but fortunately, somebody told me, just look at one column, and you will see the total releases for allocations. And based on this table, the total amount of appropriations for unprogrammed in 2025 was 363 billion and some change, correct?
Based on this document, flash on screen, Your Honor, correct?
Yes, so I'm sorry if I call the millions as change because I cannot speak all of it. The total amount of allotment releases from unprogrammed in 2025 was 218 billion pesos, correct?
Based on this document, Your Honor, that's correct.
Can you remind us again? The total amount in terms of the Bureau of Treasury certification for 2025 a while ago. The one where I mentioned even the 18 centavos. It was 100 billion plus, correct? I do not need to go to the details.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, can you explain this? The total released from 2025 from unprogrammed was 218 billion. But the Bureau of Treasury certificate only covers 100 plus billion.
May I ask for the
Yes,
DBM
please.
representative, please, to explain?
Yes,
I do not
please.
have the explanation now, Your Honor.
Yes, please. Nagdala ka na ng maraming papeles.
Your Honor, the total allotment releases for 2025 also covers foreign assisted projects, which are not covered by the excess or new revenue.
Yes, and you can match the 100 to the third category, not foreign assisted, not support for
Apo.
GOCC.
Yes,
Okay.
Your Honor.
Thank you. Now, let us look at where it was actually released. So the highest was for foreign assisted projects at 110 billion, correct?
Based on this document, Your Honor, correct?
Yes, and that's what explains, that's the explanation of NEDA, DBM. And the next highest was a program called Strengthening Assistance for Government Infrastructure and Social Programs at 51 billion, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
This is 2025, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Yes. Now let's go to your submissions for 2024 GAA, starting with Annex C, your status report, 2024. Okay, looking at the allotment releases in 2024, the total for unprogrammed, unreleased, was 531 billion, correct?
Correct,
I'm sorry,
Your Honor.
the total allotment release was 531 billion, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
And all of these are covered by the Bureau of Treasury certification, tax and non-tax, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the highest amount was for SAGIP, Strengthening Assistance for Government Infrastructure and Social Programs at 200 billion, more or less, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And support for foreign assisted in 2024 only came at 178 billion, more or less, correct?
I do not have the detail, Your Honor.
Yes, and looking at your submission, we did a little analysis. I show you unprogrammed appropriations and SAGIP. Okay? So again, total government expenditures in 2024 was 5.9 trillion. In 2024, the unprogrammed release was 531 billion. The expenditures of government, however, was 6 trillion. Looking at this, there was a bigger deficit because there was also 531 billion paid from unprogrammed, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Okay, then going to the next table, we see the allotments. And if we look at total expenditures, the next slide, you will see that in fiscal year 2024, 9% of the releases, almost 8.97 or 9% came from unprogrammed, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
And in 2025, 4% of all the releases came from unprogrammed, correct?
Based on this, you're correct, Your Honor.
Okay. And in terms of the unprogrammed, 29% in 2024 went to DPWH SAGIP program, correct?
Based on this, that number is correct.
2025, learning from 2024 perhaps, DPH had 0 SAGIP releases, correct? Based on our graph.
Yes, Your Honor.
And in terms of the share of SAGIP of total expenditures, SAGIP in 2024, that lump sum in the unprogrammed funds, 3.38% was spent for that lump sum amount, correct?
Based on your study, Your Honor, I would defer to your
Do you
to
know
your
that the budget
documents.
of the judiciary vis-a-vis the entire budget of government is only about 1% more or less?
the DBM representative
Is increasing it to
confirms.
3.38%? No, it's only 1% in terms of the judiciary, just to show you that scale. And in terms of 2024, you will see that SAGIP program, which is the blue one, next slide, covered 38% of all unprogrammed releases. This is the importance of SAGIP, whether it is a valid lump sum, and the importance of how we can actually check the authorizations for this program. Now, let's move on.
Sige.
Okay, so that is all for now. Madam Solgen.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ayan, maliwanag po na questionable ang paggamit ng gobyernong Marcos ng trilyon-trilyon na pera ng bayan, lalo na po dito sa unprogrammed funds, sa special allotment, release order, meron pang for later release. Ang dami pong butas itong budget under Marcos admin. Hindi natin alam kung nasaan na ang mga trilyon-trilyong pera na ito. Bahala na po maghusga ang taong bayan dito. Kaya pa kaya ng maraming Pilipino? Hanggang 2028, anak ng kagwang, si Vice President Inday Sara ang binibiraho ninyo ngayon, samantala, ang totoong mga kawatan ay nasa gobyernong Marcos na naglilimas sa kaban ng bayan ng bilyon-bilyon at trilyon-trilyon.
Paggising sa umaga, tanghali at gabi, nakikita ko ang post niya, ang hapdi. Paano nga ba to? Di ako makatanggi. Watch ko na lang at isipin ng mabuti. Disdak Pilipinas. Disdak, tinig ng katotohanan. Sa bawat vlog may laban sa kasinungalingan. para sa bayan, gumigising sa diwa. Sa likod ng kamera, tapang ang dala, walang sinasanto kung mali ang gawa. Hinay-hinay, pero palaban, boses ng tao sa digital na labanan. Bisdak, tinig ng katotohanan, sa bawat vlog may laban sa kasinungalingan. Mulat ang mata, gising ang masa. Bisdak Pilipinas, para sa bayan, gumigising sa diwa. Hindi artista, hindi politiko, pero ang katotohanan, sigaw niya ay buo. Sa YouTube o Facebook man siya makita, may aral ka pa rin, may uwi sa bawat salita. Bisdak, gising sa katotohanan, di lang kwento, kundi panawagan. Sa bawat Pilipinong naghahanap ng liwanag, Bisdak Pilipinas, kasama sa pagbangon ng bayan. Bisdak Pilipinas, boses ng masa, gising ang diwa. Sa vlog mo, may pag-asa.